Hello there, and welcome to the Stay Off My Lawn podcast, where we'll have a little fun, lots of laughs, and discussions on the common sense that needs to be applied to a lot of today's world news issues. And now, the disclaimer. Stay Off My Lawn is not intended as legal, medical, or financial advice. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary to win. Open to legal U.S. residents 18 or over in the contiguous 48 states. Any resemblance to anyone living or deceased is purely coincidental. Actual price may vary. Only use as directed. Not a member of FDIC. And now, here are your hosts, Mike and Richard.
I just remembered as we were going through that, Donald Trump made a Truth Social post yesterday about Tampon Tim, and I forgot that I brought it up on my phone so I didn't forget. But don't let me forget when we get to that story. It's very Trumpish. It's really fun.
Well, it's good to see you again. We've been apart.
We have.
We've been separated for 2 weeks.
We took a little bit of a break, but I mean, it's good. It was good to be with family and do our thing. And but we were both chomping at the bit to get back to this.
Yeah, I was excited. I woke up 3 o'clock and went, oh, it's only 3. Crap. I got to go back to sleep. It's like Christmas morning. Oh boy.
I don't think people realize how much fun we have doing this. I mean, well, then again, most of our emails say that it looks like you guys have a good time. I was like, well, we normally hate each other, and we'll make up stories.
Yeah, the reason it looks that way is because, and when that stops, you won't be seeing us anymore.
It'll be over.
That has been from the time we started. If we're not having fun with it, we'll just quit. Well, this is 149 episodes, and now you can introduce this.
It sure is. It's January 6th, 2026, and this is episode 149.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Yes, Steve, we may have something next week for 150. Jeez, he's got to have an excuse for... yes.
Maybe I'll have coffee next week while we're doing it.
But he's all perky today, so I think he made it through the holidays and stuff with... he's been pretty good on the straight and narrow here.
He seems to be. I think I saw him with a Sprite in his hand this morning.
And let's only hope that's all that's in the can.
Yeah, well, let's hope. Either
it
that
seems to, because you can have a conversation and it makes sense now instead of...
It does no sense. I mean, his breath still smells like he ate garlic, and but other than that, I mean, why should you smell like garlic at 7:30 in the morning? I have no idea. Well, but I think his diabetes needs a little bit of attention.
Well, I thought I heard him say something about Italian heritage once, but I don't know.
That just means his blood type is ragu.
Yeah, there you go. Anywho's. Okay, and we're back, folks. Did you miss us? No, because you got to see me for 2 weeks, and hopefully you enjoyed the shows that we put out. We may do them once a year just because you only see them once a year. What the hey?
That's right. Well, the one that they didn't see last year, they saw the My Friend Irma one from the year before, but the Christmas Carol was brand new to most people. We didn't put that up before.
That was a good production. A good friend of ours, Brad Storm, did a lot of work on the music and sound effects, and I did all the stuff on getting the voices right so that they were pretty close to being level. When you have people scattered all over literally the world, we had one in England, Canada, the U.S. from coast to coast, and it takes a bit to get all those 11 people's sound to be close. So,
say what you will about Zoom, we have actually figured out how to stroke the program a little bit better to where our sound sounds good.
Yes.
Our clips and everything, because I can see, because I audio record also as we go, so I can see peaks and valleys, and everything is pretty even. I don't have to do a whole lot to that. So, I mean, that's kind of our little backup in case the video crashes or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's really neat. I mean, the internet can be a wonderful thing, and it can be a terrible thing. I think I mentioned that in one of the holiday episodes. It's like, you just got to use it for what it's designed for, and try to forget the rest. So, anyway, before we get to our first big story, there are huge protests in Iran right now because the economy is crap.
You would think with all the oil, something's not right there either.
No, you would think. You would, well, Venezuela the same way. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
they
yeah.
more oil than almost any other country in the world next to Saudi Arabia, I think. And they're,
So you're saying socialism is maybe not a good thing?
it just doesn't seem like the key fits the hole very well. I don't
Hmm.
know. But in Iran, anyway, 35 people have been killed during these protests, and 1,200 people have been detained. Um, and the news story I read last night before we got on the air is that the Ayatollah had his go bag ready and he was going to go to Russia. But Richard told me,
Yeah, I heard that not only was he going to go, he has gone. He's not there, and they had issues with the women were taking off their hijabs and uncovering their faces, and boy, nothing worse than a crowd full of women, and it must have been 400 or 500 of them all chanting, and they were not happy.
I did not even see that. Well, but now it'll start looking like it did back in the 70s
Yeah, they
when
looked like
the
a
Shah.
totally westernized country in the 70s, and then these extremist Muslims took over and their country just went into the dumper.
Turkey was the same way. Turkey, all the way through the 90s and
Yeah.
even the early 2000s, they were doing great. And now it seems like they've kind of gone a little bit more radical Muslim. And so it's the whole Sharia type
Yeah,
situation.
it's a country that Americans have been warned don't go there. You
Right,
used to be
right.
able to go there. It was a big touristy thing. Don't go
Oh,
there anymore.
I had when I was in the military, I knew friends that were stationed over there near what's not Istanbul, the other Ankara. It was near Ankara, and it said it was a beautiful country. Actually
Hmm.
married a girl from there, and she would just rave about how, and this is the 80s, but she would rave about how great that country is. And it's like I was fascinated by it at the time. I always wanted to go visit because of what she used to tell us those stories. So I don't know. I don't know. It's really sad. In Venezuela, it's the same way. Beautiful country, so many different, beautiful, great resources. It should have been like it was back in the 90s,
Well, they,
prosperous.
yeah, exceptionally prosperous. So, yeah. Well, it got to be so bad, a third of their country booked it.
Yep. Eight,
I mean,
8 million, I think it was.
yeah, 8 million out of a country that only has like what, close to 30 million or something,
And we'll hear
28
from
million.
Marco Rubio talk about that too. But speaking of
Iran.
Venezuela,
Oh,
the Delta forces and other soldiers from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment unit out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, went down and plucked Maduro like a pimple off the butt of that South America, and brought him back to New York. He was before a judge yesterday and said, "I'm innocent. I hadn't done nothing, and
sure.
I didn't have sex with that woman." Um, well, anyway, he's sitting in jail. I guess he's due to go back in front of a judge in March, I think is what I saw. But anyway, some Marines, seamen, airmen, a bunch of people were such a big operation, and it went flawlessly. And it really shows how great our military is, even after the 4 years of Biden and how it got kind of like uh, the whole attitude of the military went downhill during Biden, unfortunately, and it seems like it's back and things
Yeah.
are
Well,
going
they've
well.
had record-breaking recruitment going on ever since he left, and recruitment went through the roof. Yeah,
Almost
there
day
was
one.
all these idiots that keep trying to say there was a war down there, and it's like, what war? It lasted 8 minutes. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Um, yeah. So anyhow, what do you have something else on Iran? Did you have
No,
any?
I don't, unless
Oh,
you do.
no, I would have brought something up, but yeah, that was when you piss off a bunch of young females and they're willing to go out there and chat against and
Oh yeah.
off come the hijab, they're done. Because that country, if you want to know what it looked like, go back. You can find pictures in the 70s, and it looks like somebody that's in middle America. I mean, it was very westernized. They were exceptionally prosperous at that time. The country was doing great. So, who pushes this socialist ideas are just we have more of that coming up later too. It's like you're gonna get what you voted for, you morons.
And historically, yeah, if you don't understand history, who I don't know who said this, but you're bound to repeat it
Yep.
if you don't know your history. Um, but I mean, we'll have some examples of where the historically these things have always blown up in their face. So we'll have
Always.
to.
It has never worked anywhere, and it still isn't working anywhere. You just had um, uh, Chile, however you want to call it. They just voted out their socialist, and they're now all free country. Starts with a B. It's in South America as well. I
Brazil,
start
not
No.
Brazil.
Oh, Brazil's that'll be
Yeah,
the next
they're
one, but
really left. Yeah.
yeah, they're and it's not going well for them either. Top left side, not Belarus.
Uh,
Anyway, they got rid of their socialist stuff. How they managed to get them out and get rid of them, I don't know.
Bolivia, is that?
Bolivia, there you go. That's it, Bolivia. I'm going. It's a B. I can see it. It's on the map, and it's right.
I'm going
I
through the
don't.
list in my head. I'm going through the map.
Yeah, and I couldn't see the name of the country across it on the map. It was nondescript. Don't know why. Anyway, anyway, they've all gotten rid of socialists. You got Europe that tried to go with socialist, and it ain't going well for them at all. Europe, and that includes the Maroons that are in England. Keir Starmer's about as worthless as they come.
They're trying to push him to set up an election, a special election, because they've had it. They've had it. And our buddy Charmaine, if you follow her on her socials, she's very vocal about how much of a maroon he is. So
Yeah, so he's terrible. Well, over in Ireland, yeah, I've been watching too much news lately. I took a week and a half or so off, and all of a sudden, in Belfast, Northern Ireland, which is part of the
UK now, yeah.
England, which doesn't UK, which doesn't make sense. But whatever. Uh, they burned 13 hotels down that
Oh
were
my,
housing um, my the people coming from different countries,
yeah, yeah.
from the Middle East section of the world. Yeah, they burned down 13 hotels.
Wow, incredible.
And yeah, so it's people aren't going to put up with it. They've had freedom for it's like, no, you're not doing that to us. So,
And I don't understand. I guess it's to make themselves seem like very moral. I think that's probably part of the root of it. I mean, I want to make myself look like I'm very inclusive and I love all people. And it's like
that's fine, but it
you can
doesn't
love all
work.
people, but you can't let everybody in your house.
No.
I mean, just because
Well,
somebody's homeless in your
uh,
neighborhood doesn't mean you need to open your door and let them in.
yeah, the stuff that's going on in Northern Ireland around Belfast, they had an incident where they went into Minnesota and a Hilton hotel was told, no, we do not rent rooms to ICE.
Oh,
Oh man, it went really viral, and unfortunately, it's a franchise of Hilton, but Hilton's name's getting blasted all over the place, and the owners of it said we fired the individual who was a front manager or something. We got rid of them. Yes, you can stay here. We'll even let you stay for free because they knew what it was going to do to their business. You go woke, what happens?
yep. Well, it's like while we were taking our break, that one woman that gave the Target employee a hard time because she had a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt on, and it's like she was berating this poor old woman. She had to be in her mid 70s,
Yeah.
and she's just treating her like dog crap and videoing the whole thing, hoping that I guess hoping for clicks and everybody go, yes, go get him. And it's like she ended up getting fired. She was a healthcare worker. She ended up
Hmm.
getting fired over the whole thing. And a lot of people are like, well, nobody should get fired for their opinion. Maybe not. But if you're going to berate a person that you don't even know and video it and put it on the internet for everyone else to jump on and pile on this poor old woman, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm
And
glad she got fired.
she's no longer on social media. She has wiped everything out, canceled all of her accounts because she just got bombarded. And the elderly lady What did she end up getting? Something
Like
200
160,000 the last time I
yeah,
saw.
I thought it was close to 200. It was the last thing. So,
But they
and
started a
she is
GoFundMe,
just
yeah.
an absolute sweetheart.
She is. She is. And the way she reacted to this nasty woman was nothing but gracious.
Yep.
Said, well, that's your opinion. And she was much better than I would have been. I would have said, you need to get out of my face, lady, before I rip it off and feed it
Yeah,
to you.
but it served her well. Now she doesn't
Yeah.
have to go back and work at Target as a greeter and a cart getter.
No. As a matter of fact, she can actually enjoy retirement, hopefully.
Yep.
I think she was going to actually donate it anyway, because that's the kind of heart she has.
Yeah, it was a big portion of it or something. I did hear that, but yeah.
But as
Looney
far as
Tunes.
Venezuela goes, I saw this one guy in Miami. There's a lot of celebration going on in Miami. There's a big population of Venezuelans, I think, in Doral area of Miami. But this is one guy that was being interviewed on social media.
I just want to talk to you, America, and I hope you have your coffee when I tell you this, but these are great news. All eyes on Venezuela. These are historical news. This is history in the making. I mean, my chest, it feels like it's going to explode with joy, because before I was even born, there have been struggles. My family has been fighting for so many years before I was even here. They have told me about it. They told me about a time where democracy existed, and now I can finally look forward to that. And that's just everything that I can ask for. And I just want to tell you people, America, Venezuelans are good people. The greatest people that I know. I can vouch for them.
Now, growing up in Florida, we had all the Spanish-speaking people I knew were from Cuba back in the 70s and everything. That was kind of the big thing. But you will never not find more flag-waving, red, white, and blue blood people that I have ever met in my life were these Cuban immigrants that knew what they were fleeing and knew how good it was here and how good they had it. And Venezuelans are the same way. This one guy that I used to go to church with, I mean, just loves America all the way to the bone. And you don't find that kind of thing with people that are born here. A lot of these people in the same age group, it doesn't seem to matter. It's all about perception. People are believing the mainstream media, and they think America's terrible.
Well, and the mainstream media is losing viewership left and right. And some of these little mom and pop, if you will, stations in smaller areas, viewing areas. I mean, Boise is fairly large, but nothing like Atlanta or some of that. They can't afford to lose all their viewers, and they've got next to nothing, and nobody's supporting them anymore. There was money coming in from somewhere for them to say what they needed to say, and it ain't happening anymore. One of them, in fact, is looking at getting rid of the guy that's the head of the news, who is just so far left. I quit watching, and it used to be a conservative channel. So.
Yeah. Well, we were talking off the air about CBS News and Barry Weiss. She's been a shot in the arm for them, and I think starting this month that there's going to be some big changes over at CBS News, and they're going to be a little bit more of middle of the road, supposedly. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that does. Now I don't know whether that's going to extend to all the Paramount affiliates. I would imagine, but yeah, it's something needs to happen. And hopefully that's a beginning of something good, because MS Now, which it used to be MSNBC, I mean,
NBC went, you guys are even too far left for us. We're out of here. And they're already starting to struggle. They don't have any funds coming in.
Started off out the gate with like a snail. I mean, it was like, okay. But anyway, with this whole thing in Venezuela, we have a lady, and what was this lady's name
something mom tattooed. Anyhow, she's someone who she brings the receipts. And if you want to show the video, or just go ahead and just play her words, because she says what's on the screen. So
it's really, really good. She sums up very very
everything
nice.
that's happened.
I'm not so sure why y'all keep saying that we kidnapped the president of Venezuela. Like, Edmundo Gonzalez has been an asylum seeker in Madrid, Spain since September 7th of 2024. Oh, you don't know who that is? My bad. I forgot. Y'all don't read anything for yourself. You just regurgitate whatever the Democratic machine puts out and you repeat it on command. Lucky for you, I have the time. So here's what actually happened. Venezuela held a presidential election in July of 2024, and Edmundo Gonzalez won by a landslide. But Nicolas Maduro did what dictators do, and he didn't leave office. Instead, he issued an arrest warrant on September 2nd for the man who beat him, which forced Gonzalez to flee Spain on September 7th. Because that's how real dictatorships work. You lose the election, you refuse to give up power, you criminalize the person who beat you, and then you force them into exile. So all of you people out there marching in the streets yelling, "Free Maduro, return him to power," you do realize that he stole that power. That is who you're simping for. And if you actually paid attention, which we all know you don't, you would notice something else. The only countries that are upset about this are Russia, Iran, and China. And that would be because Maduro sold Venezuelan oil to Iran to help them dodge sanctions through shadow tankers and fuel swaps. He worked with Russia to move oil and money outside the global banking system. And he used China to lock Venezuela into massive debt deals that gave Beijing long-term leverage over their energy sectors. All regimes that benefited directly from Maduro staying in power. The American media propaganda machine isn't going to explain that, is it? Because Trump started a war by kidnapping the Venezuelan president sounds better for headlines. Even though it's completely false. But they're allowed to lie to you, and they're counting on you not checking. Brought to you by Obama. It's just fun. Have a day.
Brought to you by Obama, and we talked about that too.
Yeah, canceling the Smith-Mundt Act.
Yeah.
Whew, I can't even pronounce it.
You can now put propaganda against your own people here in America. So.
And the other thing that was being the reason that China is important because they want to take over Taiwan and that. Well, they've got these big new fancy war machine stuff, their aircraft carriers and such, which are crap. They keep breaking down. But you've got to have a lot of oil to run that. And with only a few days in reserve, since they're not getting stuff from Venezuela, kind of hard to wage war if you can't go get it.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to have a ripple effect. And I also think this was a good way to project that we're not the FAFO situation. You're not going to mess with America anymore. We're not going to roll over and go, "Oh, but let's talk first."
Yeah.
No, it's not going to work like that.
Come up. We'll have some tea, maybe.
We'll dig in a little bit deeper on this actually here after the break. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. More of the Stay Off My Lawn podcast is coming up.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Professional Figure Skater.
Mr. Professional Figure Skater.
While lesser men strapped on skates and played hockey, you don skin-tight leotards and a teeny cowboy hat and learn figure eight.
Going round and round.
You practiced and practiced, hoping, knowing, someday you'd be good enough to wear a giant puppet costume and skate in an ice show.
Welcome to the big time.
Skate perfectly and you're a crowd pleaser. Mess up and fall on your butt, and you're still a crowd pleaser.
Oh!
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh Titan of the Tights. You may never wear a medal, but sequins are shiny too.
Mr. Professional Figure Skater.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, God, I miss those.
Or bleach in my eyes just to get that. Goodness gracious. My wife used to like to watch that. And my mom used to like to watch that. I'm like going, these guys are fruitcakes. Anyway.
I watched it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was really interesting. I don't anymore, but I may have grew up. I don't know.
Get irritated too easy. Now, this whole thing with Venezuela, the good question is, and a lot of the lefty media is asking this, was all this legal? And was there any, was there any unconstitutional or actions done, or would congressional approval be needed? So anyway, the great Joe Pags, which you can always count on him to have.
Love Joe Pags.
Interviews. I do too. He interviewed retired lieutenant colonel and JAG officers, so he knows the law. He understands all this stuff. His name is Jeffrey Atticott, and he was asked about it, and here's what he had to say.
Any president can order the military to do anything at any time that they want to. That's cooked right into the Constitution. It's a shared ability to wage war. Congress has the authority to declare war, but the president, as a commander in chief, has the right to also make war. And in fact, in our history of 250 years, most of our wars, Congress hasn't been involved in it. It's simply been the president using presidential authority under Article 2 to go to war.
When's the last time we asked Congress? Was it Iraq?
Last time that Congress made a declaration of war was World War II. Now
Really?
we have these things. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The declaration of war under their power under Article 1. But what Congress does sometimes is they'll do this authorization for use of military force. It's not a declaration of war. It's just an authorization for the president to use military force, because it's kind of a hybrid and a kind of a CYA, because if things go bad, they'll say, well, we didn't declare war.
Right.
We just authorize you to take all actions necessary that you want to do. But that's not in the Constitution. That's just Congress doing an authorization for the use of military force. They're kind of giving the president a stamp of approval for what he's doing and what he wants to do under Article 2.
But he doesn't need that? He doesn't need that?
No, not at all. In fact, most of our wars, the president hasn't. No. In fact, most of our wars in our history, the commander in chief has not gone to Congress and got an authorization for use of military force. They just haven't. It's more of a modern development.
I thought that was very fascinating information. I had no idea that the last time war was declared officially was World War II.
So they didn't declare it for Korea and Vietnam?
Well, apparently not. Apparently not.
I mean, that's what he's saying. So if it's been, he's the JAG officer, I'm not. So, but yeah, that's all this. Oh, yeah. Oh, and here's something that you may not have heard. I got this information. It was our friend Hakeem Jeffries found out about stuff, and he tried. You missed that, didn't you? He tried calling his buddy Maduro down in Venezuela. They already had him in custody when Hakeem found out about it. So they have him essentially recorded trying to get a hold of Maduro, and if that's not treason, I don't know what is.
Why would you have a dictator in South America on speed dial, first of all?
Yeah. Well, we're going to do some checking, but somebody in Venezuela released a huge list of congressmen and senators that supposedly were on the dole from Venezuela, but until we can get more information on it and to see if it's, legit or if it just isn't a hit piece. It's, how many names are on that? Something like 100 and something?
It was a lot anyway. It listed, and there was plenty of Republicans too. And
Yep.
really most of the Republicans, I was not surprised.
Yeah.
But we don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I've got no problem throwing anybody under the bus, but I want to make sure that it's real.
We don't know that it's factual. That's why no names. We're not mentioning anything. I could say some initials, but I won't do that. But it doesn't look real good. And it's like, why are you accepting this kind of money? Because they wanted them in their back pocket we want you to vote this way so nobody comes and bothers us down here.
And unfortunately, and I was thinking about this, I was driving up to Rome yesterday, and I was thinking about, or I was listening to Clay and Buck, and I got thinking, it's like, Pam Bondi, being a big dollop of disappointment that she's been, I really don't hope for any perp walks. I don't hope for any convictions. I don't hope for any even charges against these corrupt politicians. It seems like she's done nothing. We need to, I just, and maybe I'm not seeing the whole picture, but something needs to be done. Somebody needs to actually put some teeth in these laws and these investigations so people do get held accountable for their corruption or or just taking the law in their own hands.
Well, some of it, the problem is the propaganda machine that pushes all this stuff out there and goes, oh, you're just trying to get back at them for what? Okay, well, they've done some stuff that is illegal and against our Constitution, but that doesn't count. It's just Orange Man says we're going to get at these people, and so now it's retribution, and it's like, really? And what did Biden do for 4 years, and what did the Democrats try to do?
What did the auto pen do is what I want to know. It's not breaking news that Maduro is a bad guy. I think everybody kind of understands that. But in 2020, right after the State of the Union speech, the ever so eloquent Chuck Schumer was criticizing Trump and said this.
He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
And over the weekend, he changed his tune a little bit. I mean, the Maduro regime has been brought to an end, but now he's saying this.
We have the War Powers Act. That's a privilege resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass it. President Trump say that he intends for the United States to run Venezuela. It was reckless. It was dangerous. And looking at the president's demeanor, he didn't even seem to be aware of how dangerous and reckless it is.
But it was
Let me be clear. Maduro is an illegitimate dictator, but launching military action without congressional authorization, without a credible plan for what comes next, is reckless. Now, I was in the skiff on 3 different occasions, as recently as December, and I asked the administration, I asked them, are you pursuing regime change? Are you intent on taking military action in Venezuela, Venezuelan territory? And they assured me that they were not pursuing those things. Clearly, they're not being straight with the American people. So I've been talking to so many members of my caucus today. Everybody is very, very just totally
clutching their pearls,
troubled, worried about how dangerous this is. Let me lay out just a few of the actions that have already been taken to hold the Trump administration accountable. First, Leader Jeffries and I called on the Trump administration to brief the Gang of Eight immediately, followed shortly by a briefing for the entire Congress in the beginning of next week.
First of all, we just heard from an ex-JAG officer that he doesn't need you constitutionally, and it's still a piece of paper that matters, the Constitution. I mean, so let's go by that. That was what was put in place for.
Well, you've got past presidents, one of the biggest ones to do these bombings at will and wherever he wanted to do it was Obama. Obama just went around and he was blowing up stuff left and right compared to some of the others. Some of the others may have did 2 or 3 things, but he was just happy. Ooh, you get a bomb and you get a bomb. And
now, for me personally, I'm not comfortable with regime change, us being heavy-handed involved in regime change. It really didn't work out well in Libya with Gaddafi. So I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm hopeful because this is a different scenario. So I'm hopeful that things will work out better.
What cracked me up was he was saying that, well, and we know he was an infamous non-voted for
legitimate
dictator, but wait a minute, you're still going to defend him. But everything you just said in front of that, yeah, we know that. Never mind that. But
if Biden did that or Obama did that, they'd have been praising
not
it.
a word.
Nobody said anything when Obama went over to and had Osama bin Laden killed. Nobody said, well, you didn't have the authorization to do that. No, he just went ahead and did it. And you know what? If he did anything right during his presidency, it was that. I applaud him for that 100%.
He vaporized an American citizen that was in a foreign country doing things he shouldn't have been doing either. Nobody said 2 words boo about that.
No. Again, you mess around and find out, and this is a whole different thing. But while Chuck Schumer,
Did you happen to see Maduro going, I mean, I don't know Spanish from crap, but anyhow, he's calling him, yeah, come and get me, coward.
Oh, I did. You know, I had that video.
Well, okay, since you said come and do it, I think we will.
I had that video. I thought I sent you that video, and when I went to pluck the audio from it, it was gone. So I think they scrubbed it from the Instagram. I couldn't find it anymore.
Yeah, he didn't even get into his safe room.
Yeah.
Didn't even have time to get into his safe room where he could go in there. And they were prepared to get into that, though. Yeah. They had torches and all kinds of stuff to cut this stuff up.
This house is actually in the middle of a military base. And for the Delta forces to come in there and it's like, you got to love these guys. They all got to get big old fat ribbons for this.
Some lefties going, he's only going to send 4,000 Marines down. Do you know how many people Maduro activated? 4 million. Let's see how this goes. Nothing happened. They all went, because they're all people that have been practicing with wooden guns. They don't even have real ones. What are they going to do? Boo. I mean, I don't know.
Get a splinter? Give me a splinter? But as Chucky Schumer was making his mainstream media tour de force this past weekend, Marco Rubio did the same thing. And here's one of those clips.
I watch these experts, and it's clown hour. Okay, these are people that have focused their entire career on the Middle East or some other part of the world because that's where all the action was. Very few of them know anything about Venezuela or the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela looks nothing like Libya. It looks nothing like Iraq. It looks nothing like Afghanistan. It looks nothing like the Middle East other than the Iranian agents that are running through there plotting against America. Okay, these are Western countries with long traditions among their at a people-to-people and cultural level and ties to the United States. So there's nothing like that. So I think people need to stop ascribing the apples and oranges here, the apples of the Middle East to the oranges of the Western Hemisphere.
But do you...
Number two, this is about the national interest of the United States. And what I'm confident of is we are in a safer and better place because we're taking it seriously. The alternative would have been to leave Maduro there as an indicted drug trafficker, illegitimate president, running the country, open invitation for all of our adversaries to do whatever they want against the United States from Venezuela. That was not going to continue.
Yeah. And of course, the other criticism is that we did it to get Venezuelan oil. And Marco replied pretty brilliantly again.
We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies?
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern history, left Venezuela since 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how destabilizing 8 million migrants is?
Again, up until Hugo Chavez took over in, I think it was 2002, 2001, something like that. They were the third largest economy in the Western Hemisphere behind the U.S. and Canada. And of course, Maduro took over in 2013, I think it was, after Chavez died. But their poverty rate lately has fluctuated around 90%. I mean, it absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, Canada's not doing well either, since you were saying they were up there with the United States and Canada. Canada was like number 3, something like that. In
the 90s, everything was different for sure.
Yeah. They were way up there. They're down all the way to 8 and just keep dropping.
Oh, are they really? Oh,
yes.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, their economy's just going down the toilet as fast as you can flip the handle.
And file this one under, I did not see this coming. This is Nicaraguan-born Ana Navarro. If you know that name, she's from The View. And the recent in
this was awesome.
Is pretty good.
So today for me is a good day because Maduro is out. He is a son of a bitch. I hope this sends a message to the other sons of bitches in the region. You may disagree with the way Trump did it, but it's done. There was no way that it was going to end any other way because once he started bombing boats, and we have We've bombed boats and alleged drug boats and killed over 115 people. I think Trump thought getting rid of Maduro was going to be easy and Maduro was going to scare easily. He didn't. It took him doing this. So yeah, he did it without congressional authorization. This was an act of war. All of these things, but it's now done. I think it doesn't escalate from here because the objective of this was to get Maduro out. And certainly there's an oil component. Certainly there's a lot of Trump ego in this about, being able to do it. But it's done. And I, for one, I am very happy.
And we were talking off the air about this, that American oil companies had invested billions and billions of dollars into the refineries and the pumping mechanisms and everything down in Venezuela back in the 90s.
Yep.
And, of course,
Chavez said, that's ours. Screw you guys. That's ours. Contracts and whatever. I don't care. This is our country, and it's not yours anymore. Wait a minute.
Because America has been who they've been, just said, okay. So the bully took our lunch money, and we're taking it back.
And kept taking our lunch money until somebody said, no, we still need to eat.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
ours.
I wonder if Trump's plan is to kind of like help these companies recoup some of their losses, go down there. Because right now they were pumping. We were talking about this too. They were pumping back in the 90s, 1.7 million barrels a day, something like that. And now they're only pumping about 400,000 barrels a day.
Yeah, it's not much. And we don't need that. We're not going down there to get the oil. But the investment that was made by these companies, they need to get some of that stuff back. So,
and not only that, the money that the oil is going to produce will help the Venezuelan people if it's done correctly. I mean, since it is still owned by Venezuela, why not help these people? There's 90% poverty rate. I mean, and it's dirty oil. It's very similar to the Russian oil. It needs a lot of refining in order to be usable. So anyway, I think Anna gave him a backhanded compliment and everything, but at the same time, I think most people who are actually have any kind of common sense in their brain go, this is a good thing. This is definitely a good thing.
Well, I'm not too keen on who they just put back in there, a Maduro loyal subject. So I don't think she's going to last very long because the people are not going to tolerate this crap.
She's either got to change her ways or she's got to go. I mean, wasn't there somebody that won the election? Who was the one who won the election? Who actually won?
Oh, yeah, we just heard from the gal that was talking about that.
I can't remember. Eduardo something.
Something, yeah, and he's in Spain. An arrest warrant was put out for him, and he went, I know what happens when you get one of those. I'm out of here. Yeah. I don't blame him.
Oh, I don't either. You end up having your teeth pulled out. And
overwhelmingly voted for, and Maduro goes, no.
Maybe he'll be back now because obviously he's actually got a decent head about him. I mean, he understands things a little bit better. Is not just so greedy, Anyway, we have spent a lot of time on this story, but I mean, there's a lot
gone down two.
I know.
We've got 2 stories covered in 40 minutes.
Well, let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Mamdani a little bit. Maybe we can blow through some of this.
That's so stupid.
Gosh, we're just terrible with time. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Mike Tarnow, Richard Durrington. The Stay Off My Lawn podcast continues next.
Let's suppose you just come up with a new soft drink. A tart and tingling soft drink. Clear and brisk and bubbly, and it was called Sprite. How could you let anyone know what it tasted like, short of making them buy a bottle? Well, one way would be with music. Tart and tingling, you could describe like this. Clear and brisk, like this. Bright and bubbly, this way. And then you could add some words, mix it all together, and this is what you'd get.
Clear and light, tart and tingling, icy bright, tart and tingling, brisk and breezy, clear and teasy, taste, taste. Taste the tingling tartness of Sprite. Springling, sparkling Sprite.
Now you know what Sprite tastes like. Tart and tingling. Try it. It's from the Coca-Cola Company.
And we all know they put out good, healthy drinks.
I was going to say, that's not so much of a selling point anymore. Obviously, from the 60s, they thought different. Goodness gracious. Anyway, Mamdani was sworn in the first of the year. January 1st is when they do their inauguration thing. And he's the first New York City mayor that was sworn in using the Quran. He makes him the first Muslim, the first person of South Asian descent, and the first ever mayor that was born in Africa. So he's got a lot of firsts. I think he's also the first one to call himself a socialist.
Yeah, he's a democratic socialist.
It's
big difference. Still a socialist. I don't care what name you put in front of it. It's still a socialist. Ain't going to work no more. And, well, there is an issue with him swearing in on the Quran. You know, it says in there it's okay to lie if you're furthering the stuff with the Muslims. And so, yeah, that's basically all he's done is just lied through his teeth. And now he's the one that's been put in office, and he's going, yeah, I didn't really mean that. We're going to do this instead.
And we all saw that. Most of us saw this coming. I mean, it's like he's a handsome guy. I'll give him that. But that's what they do. Look at Greasy Gavin, handsome guy, will say whatever, and it's like people will go, "Oh, he's got to be telling the truth." Look, he looks so governorship wise. I mean, anyway, Letitia James swore him in and said it was an honor and the privilege of a lifetime.
Of course she will.
Bless her. Anyway, here's a short snippet of his inauguration speech.
We'll draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. Our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers.
He sounds so good. I get it. Yeah. But I mean, if you zoom out and don't listen to the words, I mean, he's
very charismatic. But
just like Obama. I mean,
the warmth of collectivism, there has been, it's over 100 million people have died from the warmth of collectivism. Just saying. And the rugged individualist, that's what made America, you bozo.
100 million deaths of collectivism, and it's like most historians agree socialism is just communism before it gets guns, basically. But here's some quotes from history. The individual is nothing, the collective is everything. Well, guess who said that? That was Joseph Stalin, responsible for 23 million deaths of his own people. Another quote is, the interests of the individual must be subordinate to the interests of the collective. Who said that? That was Mao Zedong.
Mao Zedong.
And he was responsible for 78 million people killed under his regime.
That Stalin? Here, hold my beer.
Honorable mention is Hitler, who killed 17 million people. Pol Pot of Cambodia killed 1.7 million. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, that was 1/3 of the population of Cambodia at the time during the 70s when this happened. So, I mean, you know, you can, it's incredible how you can, because people don't know their history. They will quote somebody, really almost direct quoting. You know, it's all about the warmth of collectivism. I mean, they're using the same words.
Yep.
These people are not hiding anything.
All you got to do is go back and, how warm did that work out for? Oh, not really well, did it?
And rugged individualism, I mean, that was something that America's been built on from the very beginning. This is a term that was coined by Herbert Hoover. I had to look this up, to be honest. I didn't know this. But just about 100 years ago, it was on the premise that we succeeded or failed based mostly on our hard work and good choices. Basic classic conservatism, if you ask me. I mean, you make good choices and you work hard, you will have at least a degree of success. That's the way I always.
You will see the fruits of your labor.
By the way, one of his many pie-in-the-sky campaign promises, we were talking about this on the air, was that he was going to do this.
Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses.
Well, he just announced, I think, yesterday that bus rides are now up to $3. And
took him 4 days to go. We weren't really going to do that. And how do you redirect the revenue from buses to make the buses free if you're not getting revenue from the buses?
I mean, where's the revenue going now?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, he didn't really mean it. So yeah.
When you're a good orator, you can say whatever. You can say that you're going to make banana pudding with flour, and it's going to be fine. But anyway, New Yorkers are not happy, and so
they're getting what they voted for. It's sorry, people. This is what you wanted. Oh, we're going to get all kinds of free stuff. Nothing is free ever.
Exactly.
Ever. Somebody paid for it somewhere.
Yeah, and it's a taxpayer. Chances are. Nancy Pelosi. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. Nancy Pelosi was asked how the political landscape for her party looks now that we're coming up on the midterms, and this is what she had to say.
I'm not, in terms of impeachment, unless you have I've said to people, the one person who was responsible for the impeachments of Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It's not something you decide to do. It's what violation of the Constitution he engages in. So that's not something you say, oh, we're going to impeach him. Well, but you can have the power of subpoena to get information from these agencies of government who are not supplying any information.
Brought to you by Smirnoff Vodka, the #1 vodka in the world due to its smooth and classic taste.
What in the hell? Yeah, it's... she doesn't know what she's talking about. These people are in our Congress that do not understand or know what our Constitution is. Geez, that's irritating.
She's been in Congress for 40-something years.
She should have cracked one of those books open.
Not that long of a read. I mean, I've done it. You've done it.
Yep, I'm about to start going through it again because, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah, no, that's in.
Hillsdale College, again, has a good class on that, and it's free.
So does PragerU. They just put out a class thing on the Constitution and that. So these people are in there, and it's they don't know what they're doing. Anyway, thanks, Nancy. We appreciate.
I threw it away, but I took good notes.
Your speech or whatever you were saying was like, what?
Smirnoff understood. So speaking of crazy and mostly unintelligible, Tim Walz has decided not. See, that's a segue. I mean, just for you.
That's really good. I'm almost impressed. You got a cold. I shouldn't make you laugh because all you do is cough.
I'm just getting over the flu, so Richard's on purpose.
You're welcome.
Anyway, Tim Walz has decided not to run for re-election of the money laundering capital of the U.S., Minnesota. And this was on the same day that Trump announced to cut $10 billion in federal funding to some Democratic-run states that are under investigation for fraud. Trump said this on Air Force One. I think it was yesterday.
This very stupid, low IQ governor, he's a very stupid man because, I had a campaign against him with JD. And he's a stupid man. And he's a corrupt politician. And the Somalians are ripping off our country to the tune of, looks like $19 billion, but that's only what they can find. So usually when you're looking at 19, that would mean it could be 50. But the numbers are astronomical.
Yeah, it very well could be 50. I mean, if they're estimating, they estimated 8 billion 3 weeks ago, the last time we had a podcast together.
Well, it started at 1 and then they went, it could be closer to 8, maybe 10, but 8 billion. And now it just is. Yeah.
So, and if that's just one of the blue states that's doing it, because Illinois has got to be involved in this, California's got to be involved in something similar. There's a lot of if you would just cut out the corruption in this country, we probably could balance the budget.
And nothing flat. Tampon Tim, good old Timmy, he's in some more trouble with those 2 members of their Congress or whatever that were assassinated, if you will, in their house, because the gentleman they caught for doing that is singing like a canary.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard that story, that there was a woman that was in their state legislature that actually broke party lines and voted against giving health care to illegal aliens within the state. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have I got that right?
Yes.
And I think it was like 3 days after that vote, somebody came up to their front door and shot her dead and her
Dressed
husband.
like a policeman.
Yes. So, I mean, if that doesn't tell you, that's speaking volumes right there. So I'm curious to see what he has to say. I had not heard that, so I'm glad you said that.
Oh yeah, no, and that's another. When he started singing is when Timmy boy went, yeah, I'm not going to run after all. He couldn't have got elected anyway because they have something like 50 mayors in the state going, enough's enough. You're killing us. We don't have anything. You keep cutting our budgets, and it's going to these people, and it's not even going to folks that are actually using it as intended.
And he's been warned about this for years. He's been in office 8 years. So I mean, and whistleblowers have been coming out of the woodwork that whole time, saying that there's corruption and this money is being wasted and there's no kids in these daycare centers and there's, and of course
hasn't been for months.
Shirley, yeah. So I mean, he's known about this, so he has either willingly looked the other way, which I think is what it is, because I don't think he's.
I don't think it's willingly looking the other way. It's willingly. I'll look the other way here. My hand, it's still empty. Okay, now I'll look the other way a little harder.
And that's what I'm wondering. I mean, that very well could be. That's one option, that he's taken money from this. But I really doubt that he's smart enough to be able to hide that kind of money. And if he did do that, then he's going to jail. I mean, I really don't think he's going to jail. But I think that if he was involved in taking the money, I think that I think he's so worried about. I think he's just so worried about not looking like a racist or not looking like he's just so inclusive, being a good liberal. I think that's to him, that was the most politically expedient thing to do. And maybe he is. Maybe he's smarter than I'm giving him credit for, and he's got money.
No, he's not. You're giving him way too much. You're being kind with the credit monitoring here. Yeah. Speaking of...
Rumor has it Amy Klobuchar is going to be taking his spot in the.
Yeah, you got this. I forgot.
Yeah. It's anyway. It's these two have seemed to be dropped on their head many times as children or something, because it's like the way they talk, and they say. And we were talking off the air. It's almost like there was a big gas leak in Minnesota, and the people are talking like they're out of their mind, or they're voting for people that are talking out of their mind. Apparently, she fancies herself as a quick-witted humorist, but because once, not really, but she thinks so. Once she told a good story, and here's that story told many times, a little bit of a montage. So here we go.
Sometimes, if you haven't noticed, you use a little humor. Like when he called me Snow Woman at my announcement in the middle of that thing, I wrote back on Twitter, "I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard." So I wrote back, "Hey, Donald Trump." So I wrote back, "Hey, Donald Trump." So I wrote back. I tweeted back, "The science is on my side. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard." I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. Mr. Umbrella Man. Senator. And he called me Snow Woman. So I wrote back, "I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard."
I just can't take it anymore. But she tells that same story over and over and over because she got one good reaction out of it, and of course, her echo chamber loves it. So yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Democrats who think their life is just wonderful and they have no initiatives of their own, it's just him bad. He's cause of all these problems. Find a mirror and point at it, and you'll find the culprit there, Timmy boy. You and Klobuchar, neither one any good. But we have another one that needs to find a mirror when they're putting all that hair gel in it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's do that one before the Valero story. Since we're coming up on the midterms, we're introducing a new segment. I added some things to this with this week, featuring Texas's own Jasmine Crocket. Here is...
It's time for this week's segment of crazy people trying to get elected. God help us.
You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress.
A few moments later.
Baby, because these people, they are crazy, because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced. Yeah, you ain't got to believe me. Just go Google. You'll find some of it.
Was that the same person?
Yes, the first person was the one who is very privileged. Her parents have money. She went to private high schools and then went to a very expensive college and come from the high school was more than most colleges in the U.S.
$30,000 a year.
40,000? Yeah, it was ridiculous. And now she thinks that's how you needs to talk to them people. And it's like, what? No, it's not. Jeez.
I
what
mean,
an insult.
She plays herself off like a hood rat, and she is anything but. She's much more privileged than you and I put together have ever been.
Lord, yes.
By
and
far.
When she was running the first time, everything was prim and proper, and she articulated well. And then it's like, where the hell did this come from?
This is what she thinks is going to get her elected to the Senate in Texas.
Yeah, it ain't working. And she doesn't need any MAGA people to vote for her. Yeah, you do, because you're in Texas, and yeah, you do. It's not just your little district anymore.
But then again, was it John Thune? Is he from Texas?
No, John Thune is from South Dakota.
Okay. Then who's the guy from Cornyn? Is from Texas.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what it is, yeah.
I knew it was a John somewhere.
Thank you for that soundbite from
great.
Crocket. No relation to Davy.
Davy, yeah. No. It looked like the same hat, though. Somebody said that the glue that she uses for her eyelashes probably got in her brain and is like,
I've been huffing it for too long.
Yeah. It's just a sad situation. But the business climate in California, it's gotten so bad that at least one refiner, Valero, which we used to have one gas station here in Cartersville. It was Valero. It's gone now, but it must be really big out where you live. You must have a lot of Valeros.
Don't see them at all.
Interesting. Anyway, they're pulling up stakes in California at a very hefty price. Here's that story.
Valero Energy Corporation just spent $1 billion to get out of California. They didn't spend it on new equipment, or technology, or expansion. They burned through $1 billion in exit costs, write-downs, contract penalties, and closure expenses, just to shut down their Benicia refinery and leave the state forever. The company that operated profitably in California for 25 years decided losing $1 billion was better than staying one more day. The Benicia refinery processes 170,000 barrels per day, roughly 8% of California's total refining capacity. Valero announced the closure for April 2026, then moved it up to January 2026. They are so desperate to leave, they are accelerating the shutdown timeline. The company could not even find a buyer. Nobody wanted to take over a functioning refinery that has been operating since World War II. Think about that for a second. A massive industrial facility with existing infrastructure, a trained workforce, and established supply chains. And no buyer on planet Earth wanted it.
Too bad.
Well, you got Valero, and then you recently, Phillips 66 said bye-bye, and they shut down their refinery. Same thing. Can't find a buyer for it. They left. And well, that's affecting, because it used to just go straight up it's affecting mostly Oregon, Washington, and believe it or not, didn't help Arizona. Their gas prices are going crazy high because there's no refinery to send the stuff to him anymore that's close by. So yeah, he's affecting other states around him, but he needs to be president.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, wasn't there a surplus in California at one point not too long ago?
When he became governor, there was 60 billion surplus. Yeah. No, now there's like something like 80 to 100 billion in the hole.
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, the business climate that a governor sets does make a difference. I mean, you may think, well, we're taking care of all these poor people for coming up from wherever, coming illegally into our state. Unfortunately, that comes at a hefty price. And sometimes that comes at a hefty price that causes businesses to uproot and leave because it's cheaper to run a refinery in Tennessee or Texas or Louisiana. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Well, it's not a business climate. I mean, you've got those 2 refineries are gone. You've got In-N-Out that's been there forever from the beginning. They're gone. You got Elon Musk businesses, all the different ones that he has. See ya, we're out of here. They're going. Oracle left. What's another big one? There was another giant one. But they just keep leaving. It's like, well, just tax big business. That's the lefty form of doing it. Big business says, see ya, it's America. And now they're trying to tax them once they leave the state, which is not constitutional and won't hold up.
I think they tried to pass that. I think that failed. But there was one state senator out there that was trying to run that, and I can't remember his name. I can see him, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, we've got too many people in too many different states for different stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, if you live in a blue state, it might be best to get out now before it gets, if you can. And I understand, man, ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to live in California because it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Very nice.
But Venezuela is beautiful too, and nobody wants to go there.
Well, the state of Washington's got a governor just like good old Greasy Gavin there, and he's taxing the crap out of big businesses, and they're going, excuse me? Yeah, no, Amazon's about to pack up and move out. So,
the mayor in Seattle, she's a whack.
She's just a loon. It is not going well, and it's going to get worse before it gets better.
The whole left side of the country is going to have to break off and fall into the ocean or something. I don't know what's going on out there, but anyway, we need a palate cleanser after all that.
Please, yes. Even if we're overtime, I don't care.
Oh, we are definitely overtime.
Yes, we are.
This is a Paul Harvey Rest of the story. It's about let me see. This one is about a helpful young lad. Yeah, that you may have heard about. But him and Richard and I had no idea what this is going to be. So it's enjoy Paul Harvey, and now
the rest of the story. Every day at about the same time, around noontime, this same young man would visit George Williamson's Chicago candy store. Now, he was an undistinguished lad, except perhaps for his sense of humor. He rarely, if ever, actually bought candy, but he loved to talk to the shop girls. In fact, after a while, the youngster had made of himself an incredible pest. Mr. Williamson would often admonish the little fellow that his employees were there to make and sell candy, not to joke around with visitors. By the way, Mr. Williamson would say, didn't the boy have anything better to occupy his time? But the child remained undiscouraged, and pretty much all through the year 1920 and beyond, he returned to the Williamson store each day to talk and to joke and to get in the way. But this is the rest of the story. The young women who worked at Williamson's had a brainstorm. At long last, they decided that this little pesky boy was determined to haunt the place, so why not make use of him? The next time he came in, for example, they could tell him they had a job for him, that there was an errand that needed running. The task need not even be necessary, only something to preoccupy this eager little boy, and if doing favors discouraged him from coming in the store, so much the better. Well, the next day the visitor arrived on schedule, but before he could say a word, one of the shop girls called his name. One of the shop girls called his name. Would he please go fetch something or other at such and such a place? And, of course, such and such a place turned out to be halfway across town. But instantly, the lad's eyes lighted up. He'd be glad to help out any way he could, he said, and in a flash he was out the door, and from that day on, every time he walked into the store, some designated employee would call his name. Some designated employee would call out his name and make a request. And so much for the pest. In fact, the more favors the little boy did, the more errands he ran, the more the shop girls realized what a good-hearted, really well-intentioned little fellow he really was. The best recollections are that after the summer of 1921, folks around the Williamson store never saw the youngster again. And if his last name were ever known, it has long since been forgotten. And yet old man Williamson made certain that you would never forget that young man. Because, now remember, whenever they had an errand, they would just call out this young man's name and send him off to wherever. One day, the company, the employer and employees were debating a new product name. Now, don't get ahead of me. They had a new candy bar, and they wanted a new name for it. And after only a little discussion, they agreed on that little boy's name, because it had been spoken around the store surely more than any other. Each time there was an errand, somebody would call out. Now, you may have heard that this candy bar was named after the alias of author William Sidney Porter, but that's not so. From now on, you're going to know that the name of that candy bar honors a little boy that you never knew, by echoing the voices of the shop girls at Williamson's when they would call out each day, "Oh, Henry." Oh, Henry. And now you know the rest of the story.
I had to look it up. O. Henry was sold in the U.S. until 2019. It's not sold here anymore. A slightly different version is still manufactured and sold in Canada. If you're Canadian, you can still get this.
The wife looked it up too, and she goes, because she was listening to it when I wanted to hear the whole thing before I sent it to you, and she goes, "No, you can still get them." She didn't say it has to come from Canada, but
they can get them on Amazon, but it comes from Canada.
Yeah, that's where
the original version is still sold in the U.S. by Hershey. It was originally Nestle, I think, that had it. But anyway, it's under the name Rally. I don't remember seeing a Rally bar. I don't know. That might be regional.
Oh, Henry's. I remember growing up. There was Oh Henry's. It's like, Oh Henry. It's like, what a dumb name for a pretty darn good candy bar.
Kind of a thicker version of a Snickers.
Along that line. Yeah, more toffee-ish to it.
Yeah. It was very flavor. I mean, but candy bars were different back then. I think now it's just full of chemicals a lot of times. Anyway, we hope you were somewhat informed and had fun like we did. Don't forget, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Smart Speaker, Rumble. Stop it.
Sound like Steve.
You don't know what's in here, so I mean, it doesn't matter. Or wherever you get your podcasts, you just go find.
And if that's just too difficult, just go to our good old website of stayoffmylawn.us for all our past and present episodes.
See you next week, folks.
Total, thanks again for listening. Tell a friend, we appreciate you all. Well, we had fun and hope you did too. The opinions heard here today are not those of anyone other than Mike and Richard. If it made you laugh or go, or even, then we've done our job. Sort of. Well, mostly anyway. And if we made you think about things in a common sense manner, we welcome you to the club. And if it didn't, then just stay off my lawn. See you next time.